Um, so I guess I should probably do two things, but feel so low energy about this fucking feel so low energy that I don't really want to do either of them. Uh, to be honest with you, so I guess the first one, uh, I guess that's a weird statement to make, right? And like in terms of not feeling like you have to do anything, then there's the not feeling like you have to do anything, but like in reality, I'm really not doing that much anyway. And the film I watched yesterday, I feel like it's worthwhile reporting on. I just feel like, and in these moods that I'm in, I feel like seeing as I'm feeling like what my duty is at the minute is to report on the reporting and report on art and report on, do you know what I mean? I feel like seeing as feeling that that's what my duty is at the minute, then um, I should do it when I'm in the sorts of moods that I'm in. I mean, I think I'm now like a week and a half without caffeine in it, and it sucks, man. If I'm completely honest with you, it just makes you feel like because I don't have anything to do. Do you know what I mean? I think with caffeine, it's a weird thing where you drink coffee, and if you don't have anything to do, you will be more productive. Do you know what I mean? Whereas how I'm feeling right now is like, what's the point in doing anything? I guess the first thing to do, I'll probably just get this film out of the way first. So I watched a film. I watched two films yesterday, so I guess do both of them. One of them was called Abigail. Um, Now, funnily enough, I could see there's a couple of girls that I know that I would say this film would definitely make them go, yay, that's me, sort of thing. And I think that I also, I guess the title, if you're concerned about thinking that uh, the world is trying to create a bunch of like gay mixed race people, then I would say probably don't go and watch this film. Um, because I mean, I guess even the title, if you aspire to be like her, right? So like let's say in terms of programming, if you're aspiring to be like this little vampire girl, but spoilers by the way, if you're aspiring to be like this little vampire girl in a tutu or whatever, then the name a bi girl really is what Abigail says, isn't it? Like, and the reason that I would say I know at least a couple of girls that would be sort of like cheering their way through that film is I think that they would want to be known as they would want people to think of them as that little girl. It's a thing, isn't it? It's a weird thing in society where like men don't want to be known as little boys, right? But I don't really care. Like I'm a child, do you know what I mean? But I mean I'm quite clearly not, but I mean I act like a child, I guess. But girls, I think, because they fear losing their age, because they fear looking older, they know that men go for older women less so than younger women. I think I've gone on dates and seen girls for a few weeks that have done like crazy cringy shit, like you know, after like 2 pints, they go, people always tell me how young I look and shit, and you're like, okay. And you know, like in those times as a guy, you have to think like, I really want to tell you that you're 25 and you look 35, but you don't do do you know what I mean? You for the most part you just let it ride. Yeah, I mean you read the room, don't you? A lot of women have a sense of humor. A lot of women don't. Um, but like I guess it's a common thing. I mean, it's even going back to stereotypes from like the 50s. Do you know what I mean? Those sorts of old stereotypes of like, oh, if the girl asks you how she looks, then tell her she looks amazing. Like, I think you tell the truth. Really, or you break up with them because you're never going to be able to tell them the truth because they're arsey as fuck. But anyway, this Abigail film, I thought it was the beginning was really good, and then I felt like and it was enjoyable, right? I wasn't going to turn it off, and I paid attention. I wasn't looking at my phone the whole time, which I guess is like a reasonably good review. But I felt like I felt like so much horror these days, like so much horror, so many thrillers, so many dramas are like so tongue in cheek. Do you know what I mean? I just think like, well, can it not quite be that tongue in cheek? Like sometimes it was listed as a horror comedy, but I didn't know it was listed as a horror comedy. I just looked up fucking 25 best films of the year and saw that Abigail was one of the best horrors. So I just watched it and then, yeah, the first like 15 minutes I thought, oh, this could be all right. And then it did this whole cringy as fuck thing where one of the characters goes around the room and goes, I can tell you everything about you. Do you know what I mean? It's like they were putting $20 in if she was right, like in her assessment on breaking down these characters, then then she got to take the $20 and stuff, and I just thought like, nah, man. I mean, yes, as in like a Sharknado sort of cheese. Do you know what I mean? But no, as in like, and then also the characters all died pretty fairly quickly. That dude looks a lot like Elon Musk, the bodybuilder guy that's also in some like vampire. That's also in another vampire show that I watched, like a Fox vampire show. I can't remember the guy's name. I mean, yeah, I'd say I didn't really care about any of the characters. I didn't care. I didn't find the ballerina evil enough to be like a viable villain. They overpowered her so often. Do you know what I mean? I thought like, well, how is this a viable villain when like two human beings? How is this like? Why are we fearing this super vampire that like rips people's heads off and shit? Like, she can't overpower two people holding her down. I thought like, what? Why is that seemingly what got three people, four people, whatever it was? Like, you think of a vampire and you think that like they can do and get out of anything, right? I mean, I guess that was quite funny when it was quite funny when she was in the cage and she was begging them all to let her out, and then when they wouldn't let her out, she just broke out of the cage. I did think that was quite funny. But bar that, like, I didn't think she wasn't a villain that I really cared about. And on top of that, not because the good guys were like, it did this whole cringy as fuck thing. You know, it is that thing of like, oh, the good guys are all actually bad guys, and they're all like sort of hiding something, and they're, oh, this person didn't pay a drug debt back, and oh, this person neglected her child and shit. Like, it was like, I don't care. I don't care about any of this. That's like real life shit. Do you know what I mean? That's like real life shit where you go like, oh shit, I'm sorry to hear that. That must weigh on you a lot. Do you know what I mean? But like in terms of a fucking vampire film, like, why do I want a vampire film where people are going, oh, I neglected a child. Oh, I used to have a drug problem and I don't anymore. Like, it's a vampire film. Do you know what I mean? This isn't like a fucking podcast to relate to for people that have gotten damaged over drug use and depression and shit. Do you know what I mean? Like going, oh, I can relate to that. Oh, you got over it, did you? Or oh, you haven't gotten over it. Let's see what the problems are. This is a fucking vampire film. I'm not, again.